What is going on, everyone? This is Ninja Geek here, and today I wanted to talk about my review of Quantum Break. Of course, the new release from Remedy Studios, who, as you may know, have also made Alan Wake back a long time ago, and there are rumors and stuff that we're going to get into about another Alan Wake game, Alan Wake Returns, or Alan Wake 2, whatever that case may be. But I wanted to talk about their newest game, Quantum Break, because I was really excited before when they started announcing this game, like almost 2 years ago, plus on from that. They've worked on this game for 4 years. So I was really excited to see what Remedy had in store for us when the game actually released, and it came out on April 5th of 2016, and I ended up playing through the entire game, got all the collectibles. I spent all the time going back into the achievements for the collectibles, so I only have a few achievements left to do, which I'm probably going to finish up. But other than that, I wanted to just talk about the general stuff. Now, of course, this is my own opinion on the game, so don't comment, "Oh, you fucking suck dick," because that's not going to get anywhere. That comment is just going to get you blocked from my channel. So, make sure it's a comment that is constructive criticism towards my channel, and as well as your opinions, disagreeing or agreeing with me, and we'll go from there. And right off the bat, I'm going to come out and say, was it better than Alan Wake? As Remedy says, it is their most anticipated, game that they've made their best work and best efforts towards the best game that they've ever designed and developed. Now, do I think that Quantum Break overpowers Alan Wake, as in, is it better? No, I think Alan Wake completely is a better game than Quantum Break. Now, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves here. Quantum Break is a great game. There are some problems with it that I'm going to be talking about in this video, and then other than that, I really did enjoy the game. So first of all, and also we're going to, give it a rating like I did on my last video, Life is Strange, and also I'm going to be relating to this game sort of to Life is Strange, not in the fact that this game is relatable in terms of the style of game that it is, but in terms of the fact that both games have a time mechanic, and just in what they have in the game as well, which I'll get into a little bit later on. But first of all, the main thing about Quantum Break, as we know, is you can have these different time abilities. So there's like the time dodge, you can have a shield, you can have a bunch of time abilities within the game. You progressively get them. You don't get them right at the beginning and it's like, oh, here they all are. You get them progressively, which is cool. The problem is that there's way too many of them, in my opinion. What happens is you'll be playing up, a new ability comes up, you could dash, you can focus, you could shield, you could stop, you could do all these movements, and yeah, it's cool, but most of the times it just takes away from the entire gameplay experience, because I'm thinking about, oh, how am I going to stop time, how am I going to do this, and what's the combination for this ability, and there's too many things being used. If they cut down half of them, I think it would have made the gameplay better. And also, the thing about it is, I think the time mechanics seem a little bit too overpowered in a way, because what happens is, I played the game on normal, I didn't even play it on easy, and it's literally so easy. You could just let your abilities charge up, and if you really wanted to, you could just keep on. The achievements are so easy to get, because all you have to do is literally just keep playing, and even if you die and you go back, you could just redo the entire thing again and just get the achievements. So the achievements aren't really anything to be impressed about, and I just think the gameplay is amazing. I'm interested that they put in the live aspect where you can have the live TV show and have the consequences affect what your outcome is for the TV show. But in general, would you play this game again? Not really, unless you wanted to get the achievements for it. There's really no reason to play through it again. The choices don't really affect anything at all. So, they affect, within the game, but there's no, outstanding, amazing choice that's just going to completely distribute any other information that would be different than if you did it a different way. So that's generally what I think about the game. The gameplay is great, except for the fact of the time mechanics that I mentioned. Now, here's the thing about relating it to Life is Strange. Here's what I'm talking about. You see, Life is Strange also had a time mechanic. You could rewind time. There was one moment in the game where she stopped time, the main character, and that was happening within the story, so you couldn't actually stop time. And then there was a moment where you can actually go back and use photos to go back in time. So literally there's 3 mechanics of time used within the game, and I felt they spaced them out really well, and they played a major factor within the storytelling of the game. But here in Quantum Break, like I said, they have too many abilities. There's too many time abilities that just take away from the gameplay experience, and overall, like when you think of like Alan Wake and you had to go around collecting the batteries and stuff like that, there was no gameplay mechanic that took you away. You were always in the experience when playing Alan Wake, one of their previous games from Remedy. I don't know. It's something about the gameplay mechanics and the time mechanics just didn't click with me. But overall, was it good? Yeah, it was okay. But it wasn't anything outstanding, like it kept you in the gameplay, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to get at here. But on another note, speaking about the gameplay, there is a lot of collectibles in this game. And when I mean a lot, there is a lot of different collectibles you can get. You can get Chronon sources, narrative articles, things like that. And I don't mind with the amount of things they put in this game. I really don't. The problem is that you can't, obviously, sometimes you just don't get all of the narrative pieces, the collectibles, the intel in your run that you're playing on. So it's like, okay, I'm going to go back through the game when I'm done with it and get all of the achievements or the collectibles so I could get the achievements for having these. It seems simple enough, right? Life is Strange did this great, and I feel every game should copy what Life is Strange did. Like, straight up copy what they did, because this is the best system for it. Some people may say, oh, well, that's too easy. But what you have to do is once you beat the level or the whatever it is, you go back to that chapter within the level and it tells you which collectibles you missed and which ones you grabbed and which ones you didn't grab. So you can go back and get the ones you missed. Like, it's so simple to do. They did it within Life is Strange, and it tells you exactly which photos you took and which ones you didn't take. I mean, it doesn't say exactly which one, but it tells you the area of the chapter of where you should take the photo. And online, you could easily find walkthroughs that tell you where it is, and you could be like, okay, it literally took me a half an hour per episode of Life is Strange to go back and get all the optional photos, probably less than that. But in all of Quantum Break, it took me more than 3 hours to go back and go through all the collectibles, because you have to play through the entire game almost again. Yes, you can skip the cutscenes and all that, and you may say, oh, well, it's worth it because, you know, it's worth getting the achievement points, and it's worth it if you're going to do that. But there should just be an option to skip right to that point. I shouldn't have to sit through all these cutscenes, skipping and going back and playing through each gameplay just so I could get a collectible. I just don't agree with that. I think every game should follow what Life is Strange did in that aspect. I just, overall, think that that's the way to go. Now, for the graphics of the game, a lot of people were kind of complaining about the graphics, but I really don't see a complaint here. The graphics are what Remedy's always been, even with Alan Wake, with all of their games. The graphics have always been a gritty experience, and they even state that. It's nothing popping. Like, you think of a game that has a lot of color. Remedy's not about a lot of color. It's about the nitty and gritty feeling to their game. That's what they bring. The graphics are outstanding here within Quantum Break, and I'd love to see more games include this type of graphic system that they use, and that's why I can't wait for another Alan Wake game with these graphics. But there have been some bugs and issues with them, I think, that they've said that they're trying to fix and work on. But overall, I do enjoy the graphics within the game, and I think that they bring a great experience overall while you're playing the game. Speaking of Alan Wake, as I've always said since the beginning of this playthrough, the thing that I really liked that Remedy did was they included a lot of Easter eggs to Alan Wake. So the first notable one that you literally cannot miss is right at the beginning of the game, where they play a live-action trailer of a Alan Wake sort of deal thing, and at the end of it, it just says return. And a lot of people are speculating that Alan Wake is going to return in some way. We know that they're going to do this, okay? First of all, Remedy came out and said that they were not done with Alan Wake. So we know that there is going to be something to do with Alan Wake. And I recently read in recent news that they actually tried to acquire rights to Alan Wake Returns as a title. We don't know where they're going to go with this, but obviously from this trailer, they're doing something with Alan Wake, and I hope to see something in the future. Maybe something will happen at E3 2016. Who knows? But now that Quantum Break is done, maybe Alan Wake will be their next game that they pick up, because I feel a lot of fans would be interested in that type of a game, and I certainly am. I love the original game. I'm going to go back and play it, like I said. So yeah, that's what I think, and also, they have more than enough Alan Wake Easter eggs that I can explain, but just in the first act, they also have the Alan Wake storyboard scripting parts, how the story was progressing on a chalkboard when you're playing Quantum Break and going through the first act in the first level after a little bit of interesting stuff happens there in the beginning of the game. And I feel that that's pretty cool that they like to add a lot of Easter eggs within their games. Next, I really want to hit home on the sound within Quantum Break. As far as the music goes, the music was great, the sound effects are great, I don't have a problem with it. The only problem that I have is, I guess it's not Alan Wake. I know that I keep relating this to Alan Wake, I guess it's not, but in Alan Wake, if you did not know, Poets of the Fall actually is Old Gods of Asgard, and they made the songs like Children of the Elder God, The Poet and the Muse. They made those songs for the game, and they also made a song War, which was for an album, but it was also used in Alan Wake. And I love Poets of the Fall. That's how I got to know them as one of my favorite bands. I feel that they're a great band. Now here, did I expect to see Poets of the Fall return for Quantum Break? No. But was I a little bit disappointed that they didn't have a specific band that they stuck to make music for it? Yeah, a little bit. The music is great. I don't have a problem with it. It flows well and everything like else, but there's no real great songs that get you into the game. Like when you're playing Alan Wake and there's that one scene where you're on top of the stage and you're fighting off a bunch of enemies and you're hearing Poets of the Fall in the background. It's just an amazing moment. You don't really have that in Quantum Break. It's just kind of like blast through the gameplay so we can get to the live action parts, and that's the part that I kind of am disappointed at. But look, hopefully with another Alan Wake title, we will see Poets of the Fall return as Old Gods of Asgard within the game. One thing that I actually massively like about this game is the live action series. Remedy decided to take it a little bit different of a step here with this game and go the route of live action along with the game. At first, when they announced this, I wasn't like, oh wow, that's amazing or anything. I just was like, oh, that's cool, we'll have to see how that is. But after seeing it, it's actually an amazing experience because you get to experience stuff that changes within the game depending on the choices that you make. And I know that I said that there's not a lot of choices. Like if you go back and play the game a second time, there's really not going to be much that changes. Playing it first and second times are great, but after the second time, it's like, okay, you've seen all the options within the game. But as far as seeing it for that first and second time in the live action series could be a TV show in on its own. It's really great and it's greatly filmed too. The thing about it though was that when I was playing through the game, I wanted to actually play the game, so I kind of skipped the live action parts, but I went to go back and I'm now starting to rewatch those as I go back with my playthrough, and it makes sense now that I'm watching it now as one full kind of movie, I guess you can say. But that was just the one thing, but I do enjoy the live action, and I'm glad that Remedy decided to do something different than a lot of games that are out there that just decide, yeah, we're just going to make one game and that's it. They decided to go the route of live action. They got some popular actors in there as well, so it's not just some random people. They got popular actors in there to kind of draw people towards the game, and for that, I really like that, and it kind of draws the gameplay together too as well, because you see it in the live action and you're like, wow, that's really cool. And I know that I discussed some bad things about the gameplay that I didn't like, but overall, in general, I like the fact how the two kind of tie together. Now, judging from this, there are 4 categories here that we've obviously talked about and discussed. There's gameplay, graphics, sound, and lasting appeal. From GameStop's own website, I'm taking this from GameStop just because I think that they're pretty reputable sources. Other ones like IGN and all that out there that rate it like a 9, and people are saying like 8.5, 9, 4.5 out of 5, stuff like that. Great game. Do I think that it deserves a 9 out of 10? No, the average user rating on GameStop is 8.3 as it stands right now that I'm looking at it, and I think that that's where it about stands. Gameplay is an 8, graphics are a 9, sound is a 9.5, and lasting appeals a 7. For me, things would change. Gameplay, probably about an 8. Graphics, probably I'd push that up to a 10 in my own opinion. Sound, I would probably drop that to like a 7 or an 8. And lasting appeal, I'd probably put it a 5 or a 6, and that would be mine. And mine would probably be averaging out to a 7 or an 8, somewhere around there. That's where I would rate Quantum Break. Do I think that you should go out and buy Quantum Break right now at a $60 price tag? No. Do I think it's a great game? Yeah. Do I think that it's worth spending money on? Yeah. But do I think that it's worth a full $60? You could kind of decide. I mean, if you're going to get this game, I would just suggest renting it or something like that, because honestly, Is it, like I said at the beginning of the game, is it better than one of the previous games, Alan Wake? No, I think Alan Wake, just far as terms of the story, just completely blows out Quantum Break. But is Quantum Break a bad game overall? No. It's a great game. It's good and a great game. It's nothing, but it's not an awesome game like Alan Wake, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And those are just my thoughts, but you can leave your thoughts down below on what you think if you played Quantum Break before. And maybe you have disagreeing opinions that I have that you would like to share below, so you can share them as well. And I'll catch you on the next video that I do. I'm Ninja Geek. I'm out. And peace.